Before. After. This plugin, guys, is freaking damn cool. It's very easy to control your sub frequencies. It's of course very cool on electronic drums, of course, but can be really, really awesome on real drums. Let's find out together. So as always, Safari Pedals reached me to make a video. Of course, this is a sponsored video. However, all the opinion will be mine. And of course, I'll show you how this very cool plugin works with low end. Again, very easy plugin. As you can see, the interface, we have the bypass knob, the auto gain, which is very, very cool, input, output, and three main knobs, let's say. The drive knob, which is of course some sort of saturation, the resonance, which is basically a boost knob, let's say, because frequency and resonance will work together. They are relative, because frequency, you can choose the frequency that you want to boost more, and resonance basically will create, let's say, a sort of bell that will emphasize the frequencies that you want. And then you have the punch knob that you can decide between on and off. Of course, we have the oversample you can enable or not, because you have here the saturation, very cool to have the oversampling knob, and of course the blend. Blend is a key, because you don't want to get too much sub frequencies. Sometimes if you want to be really subtle, the blend is very, very cool. So let's see better and analyze the plugin to see how it works. Okay, as you can see, the plugin is bypassed. We have basically this flat frequency response. Now let's engage the plugin. Boom! As you can see, we have a lot of enhancement on the low frequencies. Let me change the scale here. 30 dB. Okay, so we can see better. As you can see, I can change the frequency here. It's changing basically this low shelf behavior. It's basically behavior of the pultec, as you can see, and I can go up to 120 Hz. I can engage the input. It's changing basically the overall volume, nothing else. With the output, the same. Okay, now choosing the frequencies, I'm moving basically this behavior, and I can choose the punch on and off. Is changing a bit the tilt. So as you can see, on is tilting a bit on the low frequencies, off is going basically down. So it's boosting a bit, 3-4 dB, something like that. Now let's change the resonance. Okay, is basically creating this bell, sort of bell that I told you before. So if I change frequency, I basically moving this bell shape, so I can decide which frequencies I want to emphasize, and it's very, very cool, this behavior. So this cut is the key of the pultec style. Why the pultec equalization is so famous, that's why. So I can also engage some drive. We can see what it's going to do, the drive, on the EQ spectrum basically, so it's not on the drive itself. So I'm boosting, of course, the low frequency, so it's driving always the low frequencies, not in all the spectrum. I can go down a bit with the resonance, okay, and I can also blend everything, so everything will be smooth, flat, and I can decide to push more or not here. So this is in the spectrum equalizer analyzing, but we can also analyze, of course, the harmonic, because this plugin basically is not a pure EQ. There are some harmonics. Okay, so this is the behavior before. As you can see, is bypassed the bulk sub machine. I have here basically my very, very low frequency. I cannot show you very well because it's very low frequency, so it's not narrow like high frequency. But as you can see, I have the drive all the way up, and if I disengage the bypass, as you can see, I'm creating this sort of harmonics. So as you can see, all these are harmonics. Let's say you have to imagine that these harmonics are really, really narrow, but are reproduced here very, very wide because of the low frequencies, of course. But as you can see, this is pretty easy to understand that this is an analog behavior, of course, with the drive. Okay, and also engaging only, and also changing the frequency here, of course, I'm boosting more all the harmonics on the upper part, of course, also with the resonance. So you can see better the drive, how is working here on this side, so the harmonics that have been emphasized. Now, let me show you how to use this in a project. I'll show you, of course, in a bass line, on a drum line, let's say electronic drums, especially on the kick of the electronic drums. And I think that would be very cool also to use on a real drums in a bass, so in the wall drums. But let's start now to the electronic drums. So this is my song. I want to show you something. So this is how it sounds, my project. It's of course an electronic drums. I can show you here kick and snare. It's already processed. As you can see, I have a lot of plugin here. This is the kick without any post-processing. This is with all the processing. Now, let me show you with the sub machine. I have here the plugin. Let me open it. Let's start with the default presets. So this is how it sounds without. Let's engage. You can listen to the low end that is coming up. Okay, we can choose the frequencies here. You can listen that it's changing. We have here some drive. Let's go with the blend all the way up. So let's listen to 7% of the ball submachine. Okay, let's choose the frequency. Okay, resonance. Okay, we are going near the clip. Let's go out. So if you want also to be creative, you can do that, because before with the bypass, it's a normal kick. This could be also more interesting, but it's too much. So I can use the blend knob here. So let's say without. You can listen to the low end that is coming. So before, after. You can also use more input. And if you want to adjust also some drive, with the oversampling, before, after. It's more interesting. Let's listen on the overall song. Now let's listen how it sounds on a bass line. So I have here the bass. Let's find out here, this one. It's a very slow bass, but there is not so much sub frequencies. So let's choose, for example, the ball sub. Let's start with default. Before. Okay, let's choose the frequency. Wow. Some more electronic style. Before, it's a normal bass. Now it's more synth with a control low end. If you don't want drive, before, after, you can listen to the low end. I can also the blend 7%. Okay, all together.
It's time to face this existential dread. The
Before,
leaves falling a slow waltz.
after,
I close my eyes and my pain comes to a halt.
of course you have to match the volume. But of course here we have also different frequencies, so enhancing the sub frequencies you get more volume, but because you are using different frequencies, so not always you have to match with the meter that you are seeing, so you have to match with the ears, of course. Before, after. Yeah. Now let me show you to a real drum. So this is my drum, all bypassed. Let's engage it. Listen to the low end. You can choose the frequency that you want. Before. This is applied to the wall drum, okay? So also on the high frequencies of the snare, of the cymbals. So you can listen that it's lowering a bit the high frequencies. Before. But you can listen this low end is very, very cool. I can drive a bit. Before, after, and of course you can blend it. %, it's too much, of course. Before, after, yeah. Let's use more input. Auto gain. Wow. Before. If you want here, around 80 Hz. Wow, sounds very, very cool, guys. So you have the link in the description if you want to know more about Safari pedals and all the plugins. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.